Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So we have quite a bit to get through in this video, but it is simply an update on the ownership situation. We have had a really good update from Tom White, of course, Tom White of Sky Sports, early this morning on Twitter. I did see a couple of comments in the last video saying, is that a really reliable source? Well, for me, yes, it is. Tom is a huge Sunderland fan. He works for Sky Sports. He has his sources himself. And it's probably the best source you could possibly get. Do you know what I mean? And what has come from him, it is fact, or at least I will always believe that is fact. Tom is someone who I absolutely trust. Do you know what I mean? 100%. If things don't come to fruition, it doesn't mean that he's lied. It's just these are the things that he's been told, and I think his sources are from within the club. So we do have some updates, but before we do get into it, I keep on saying this, and I'll keep on smashing it into your faces until we do hit 15,000 subscribers. We're currently just below 14.5k, so just over 500 more subscribers, and we will hit the goal that is 15,000. Again, there is so many of you guys that are regularly watching. I can see it on the analytics. I said it right correctly that time. I said it right. I can see that there's literally, out of the majority of the people that are regularly watching, there's only about 40% that are subscribed. So there's a good 60% of you guys that are watching, and you're not just tapping the subscribe button. Bang, you're done. Boom. That's it. That's all it takes. So if you could do that for me, it'd be massively appreciated. But let's get into the video. So, what has been going on? We're going to bring up a tweet that Tom White did put up this morning. So he firstly tweeted, Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven have accepted a bid for their shares in SAFC. More info on the buyers to come in the next few days. The deal needs an EFL approval. A rep of the group was in the boardroom for the playoffs versus Sheffield Wednesday. There is confidence the deal will be done within 5 weeks. He does also go on to say the offer was initially accepted prior to the player final. For me, that's quite big, that, by the way, which we will get onto. It was accepted prior to the player final. The deal has not yet reached exclusivity, but that is expected imminently. So, if you have a look at them both, okay, so the first one, of course, Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven have accepted a bid for their shares in SAFC. More info on the buyers to come in the next few days. The deal needs EFL approval. A rep of the group was in the boardroom for the player final versus Sheffield Wednesday. And the deal could be done within the next 5 weeks. So, for me, a big thing that I take from this as well is this deal, and whoever this is, whoever is leading this group that wants to buy the shares from Methven and from Stuart Donald, they were interested before even knowing whether we were going up or not. So for me, that almost signals the correct intentions, if that makes sense. I don't know whether I'm thinking too much into it, because it would be very easy for someone to come in for Sunderland as a championship club, or a lot more sort of viable, or a lot more appealing as a championship club rather than a League One club, because we're going to constantly leak money when we're in League One. A club of this size is constantly leaking in League One, if that makes sense. In the championship, it's a much more viable and appealing option. So regardless, whoever this is, they want to own the club and they want to be here regardless, which is something, again, I could be looking too deep into it, but it's something nevertheless. Do you know what I mean? But also with the whole 5-week thing, a lot of people have correctly been a bit dubious and a bit sort of sceptical, or at least worried, and I agree with that, because 5 weeks, we hit the 1st of June today as I'm recording this, early morning 1st of June as I'm recording this. 5 weeks time, you're looking early July, maybe, really early July, beginning of July, and it's not terrible timing, I guess. But if we were having to put transfers on hold somewhat, or finances going outgoings or incomings, outgoings should I say, on hold up until that point, then that can really set us back for the championship season ahead. But in saying that, it isn't like it's Kirill that's who's staying on board, and Kirill at the moment is the sort of main source of finance, I would believe. And he's the one who's staying on. He's not selling his shares, I don't think, anyway, as far as I'm aware. So he could still continue, but I don't know whether the club can, or at least it has sort of license of trade whilst these talks are ongoing. So hopefully it can be brought to a conclusion sooner rather than later, if that makes sense. But I suppose it could be a lot worse if these talks started at the beginning of July. So then we'd have a sort of mismatch of who can come in and who can't, and then we can't bring in anyone for an entire month up till the beginning of the season. So I feel like it's an all right timing, but preferably I'd like to see us get our transfer deals done as early as humanly possible, as every other club would like to, and that they would agree as well. Of course, he also says the offer was initially accepted prior to the final, which again, I alluded to, that's good for me. I like that's a decent sign. Again, don't want to think too much into it. The deal has not yet reached exclusivity, but as expected imminently. That's essentially the offer, and the deal has been accepted by it's Donald and Methven. So that's been accepted, but once those talks get really to the sort of final stages, then that's when exclusivity is generally that's generally when exclusivity is granted, because it's not over the line yet, is it? Essentially, you know, when you can see light at the end of the tunnel, that's generally when exclusivity is granted. And we should nearly be there. And if that is the case, then we could say goodbye to Stuart Donald. We could say goodbye to Charlie Methven. Now, who is it? Who is it, or who at least is leading the group that is going to be taking over from Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven? Who's going to be taking that portion of the shares, that portion of the club? There has been rumours, and this is why I knew all this anyway during the last video, but I just didn't want to just purely speculate for the sake of it. You get a lot of people that give YouTubers shit for just getting people excited for no reason, but I generally like to just update people on what seems to be factual. But, you know, some rumours can be fun to look over, I guess. But let's have a look. Okay, so the main man that has been mentioned is a gentleman named John Reece. He's a 65-year-old businessman who currently is worth, apparently anyway, reportedly worth around 4.9 billion. And that was as of 2022 in Forbes. So how accurate that is, I don't know. But he was born in Sunderland, which, again, massive coincidence. He was born in Sunderland, but his education was the University of Cambridge. His title is the CFO of Ineos. I'm not too sure what the business of Ineos is. I believe it's a chemical company. So a big company. Again, I'm not entirely sure, too clued up on the company itself. I don't really use chemicals or order from Ineos, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, he's a very rich man, and he's from Sunderland, which of course helps the cause. And if that is the case, you know, a billionaire who is from the area, who understands Sunderland, is absolutely ideal, and I'm so on board with it, and I hope he is as well. If that is the case, of course, it is still all speculation, so I don't want to get you all too riled up, which I probably am inadvertently, but there you go. So that's that. Also, one more thing, and I hate giving this guy any kind of airtime, as you guys know, but the bearded man is back. Story. He posted a picture, right? He posted a picture yesterday of a yacht, and this gentleman that we just spoke about, Reece, John Reece, he owns a yacht, and it's called Grace. I think it's called Grace or the Bloody Bay. So it's called Grace. This yacht that he's acquired, and William Story posted a picture on Twitter yesterday of this boat. It looked like he was on it. It doesn't have him on it, but it is a picture of someone on that boat, on that yacht. Really nice, luxurious yacht, as you can see, as you can imagine. So that's made people think, is William Story involved in this deal? I hope to God he's not. I hope to God he is not, and it's just more bullshit coming out of that man's mouth. But either way, and I know some people just love the fact that he's basically a meme at this point, and they still think that he has good intentions. But I cannot trust that man for the life of me. Even if he was to somehow come on board, which I don't believe, but even if he was, I do not trust him. I do not trust him as far as I could throw him. At all. His track record is minging. It's utterly horrendous. He lies consistently about his financial situations. He hasn't got a pot to piss in, essentially. But then you can argue, how is he there if he's not got a pot to piss in? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, guys. I don't know. But either way, that is everything to cover today. So it's looking like a deal is imminent, and Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven have edged closer and closer to that exit door. Thank God. Everyone in the comments, let me know what you think of everything we've discussed today, and hit the like button as well. Massively appreciated. It's so grateful. It helps out the channel. And again, subscribe. Do it now. Please. Again, enjoy. Like, subscribe. Take care and stay jammy. Away the lads.